Hello class, we have made it to lesson 15 in unit 6. Alright, so we're going to be working with exponents some more here. We're going to be evaluating, that means to work out, to see what the value is, each expression for the given value of x. Okay, so this is mostly about being careful. The calculation part of it is normally not very hard at all, but you just need to make sure that you are very precise in setting everything up and then working through it. So if we look at number 1, we have 3 times x to the second power. So x is 10 in this case. So this means that we're going to have 3 times 10 to the second power. And remember, we need to go ahead and see what 10 to the second power is first before we multiply times 3. Well, 10 to the second power is 10 times 10, so that's 100. So it's 3 times 100. And that is, of course, 300. All right. For number 2, I'm going to just go ahead and erase these here so we have plenty of space. Number 2, it says 3 times x to the second power again, but now x is 1/9. Ooh. So we have to be careful with this. We have to go ahead and use exactly what they show us here. So it's 3 times 1/9 to the second power. That means it's going to be 3 times 1/9 times 1/9. All right, and so we have to work this out first, right? This is where the exponent came from. So 1/9 times 1/9, that's 1 over 81. So this is 3 times 1 over 81. Well, okay, so 3 times 1 over 81, if you want to think of this as being 3 over 1, then it's 3 times 1, which is 3, and then 1 times 81, which is 81. And this can actually be simplified because if we divide both of these by 3, it's going to be 1 over 27. Okay, this would be 3 divided by 3, and 81 divided by 3. Okay, so 1 over 27, that is your answer. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3 says x to the third power over 4 when x is 4. So we need to go ahead and write that out. What we're doing, in case you haven't caught on, is we are just copying the expression they gave us, except we are switching out the x for whatever they tell us the next is. So if we have x to the third power, but x is 4, this is really going to be 4 to the third power over 4. So what is 4 to the third power? Well, it's 4 times 4 times 4, all over 4. All right, so you could do all of this here. You could do 4 times 4 times 4, but there is a little shortcut here. You see how we have a 4 over 4? We can actually just cancel those and just do 4 times 4 to get 16. If you didn't do it that way, that's okay. You do 4 times 4 and get 16, and then do that times 4 and get 64, and then divide 64 by 4, and you're still going to end up with 16. All right, and then for number 4, same expression that we start with, x to the third power over 4, but this time x is 1/2. So we're going to have 1/2 to the power of 3, and that's going to be over 4. Well, 1/2 to the power of 3 is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, all over 4. Well, you maybe can remember here, 2 times 2 times 2, that's going to be 8. This is 1/8 divided by 4. And I wrote it this way because if you remember when we divide, we can switch back and forth between division and multiplication just by using the reciprocal of that second term. So it may be easier for you to see this as being 1/8 times 1/4. This is really 4 over 1. If we flip it upside down, we can make it 1/4. We just change the operation from division to multiplication, flip this upside down. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 4 is 32. So there you go. All right, that was number 4, right? So let's go ahead and move along to number 5. Number 5 says 9 plus x to the 7th power when x is 1. Now, this is actually very, very easy, because when we write this out, 9 plus 1 to the 7th power, right straight away you should be able to see 1 to the 7th power. I'm not even going to bother writing all that out. 1 times 1 times 1. It doesn't matter how many 1s are there. When we're multiplying 1 times 1, we end up with 1. So this is really going to be 9 plus 1, which equals 10. So yes, a little game that we might do to try to kind of have a little bit of fun with people that maybe don't understand the rule is to maybe ask them what 1 to the power of 398 is, right? And see, oh my goodness, what's that going to be? It's going to be 1. It's 1, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. So 10 is your answer for number 5, and then we go on to number 6. So number 6 has the same expression. It's 9 plus x to the power of 7, but this time x is 1/2. Okay, let's see here. 9 plus 1/2 to the power of 7. Now here, maybe you could have caught on a little bit here. We know that when we work this out, the numerator is going to be 1. Right? Because it's 1 times 1, and there's going to be 7 of them, but it's still going to be 1, like we were saying before. The difference is now we're going to have to do 2 to the 7th power, and that could be a little bit tricky, but we have worked with 2 to different powers before, and we should be able to memorize some of them, right? So if you remember 2 to the 6th power, this came up in a previous lesson, the Gini lesson. This came up. 2 to the 6th power is 64. Okay, so that's 64. So 2 to the 7th power is just going to be 64 times 2. So if we want to see what that is, we just do that times 2, because it's just multiplying times 2 one more time. So 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 2 is 12, so it's 128. So 1 over 128 is what we're talking about. We're still going to add 9 to that. 9 plus 1 over 128, and when we do that, you're taking 1 and 128, the fraction, and adding up to 9. So it's quite simple. It's just 9 and 1 over 128. All right.